So here we have the HEPA filter. Actually, we have two. This one has obviously been used. You can see the inlet hole, and you can see some soot that has accumulated on the paper filter. Now, if you don't have adequate pre-filtering, this filter will soon become totally clogged with soot, and it will have a reduction in the oxygen because it will impede the flow and cause the nitrogen pressure to be less, meaning less absorption, and there will be less nitrogen removed. Now you can see on this one, there's actually a hole at the top, and for most models you need to perforate that so the hole comes in both sides. On the newer one here, that has not been perforated. It says remove for non-platinum models. This is for Invacare, the unit that I have. We're going to leave this connected because I want to show, as I cover this hole, what happens to the oxygen. We'll do that later. Let's just review. We have talked about, this is a tea strainer, and it gives the idea of a sieve, that the smaller the holes, the slower liquid will go through here. Now we tend to talk about an oxygen concentrator as though it is a sieve, like a strainer, and that the smaller oxygen molecules go through while the nitrogen does not. That's actually not true. What happens is that the nitrogen is adsorbed onto the surface of the zeolite under pressure, and when the pressure is released, the nitrogen will also flow away. And that is similar to the way in which activated carbon works. So this is an activated carbon pre-filter. It's one that goes on the HEPA room filter. And what activated carbon does is it adsorbs virtually everything, whereas zeolite pretty much absorbs nitrogen and a few other things which eventually contaminate it, which is why you have to replace it. Activated carbon will absorb odors, it'll absorb smoke, it'll absorb just about everything. And it's using the same principle that the zeolite does. But if you have this as the pre-filter, it will absorb a lot of the things that might otherwise be adsorbed by the zeolite. And so it would seem like it make more sense to use activated carbon as a pre-filter rather than this foam filter. Well, the reason the foam filter is used is you can continue to wash the foam filter and it will basically last forever. Activated carbon, just like zeolite, as it absorbs foreign substance, it will eventually saturate. You cannot wash it out. What you have to do is raise the temperature of activated carbon to almost 900 degrees centigrade in order to drive off the particulates or the matter that it has absorbed. So that's probably the reason it's not used. On the other hand, I think if you had a sheet of activated carbon, you could, especially in an environment where you might expect soot or smoke, you could greatly extend the life of zeolite because the adsorbed smoke and other particles would not then be absorbed by the zeolite. So